I am nursing a little bit of an ankle injury. It is not from skateboarding. I'm not trying to jinx myself, but I have not ever really gotten any bad injuries from skateboarding. Bad injuries from skateboarding. Bad injuries from skateboarding. We're going to be talking about these trucks right here. The good old Grind King Locker 2s. I've now skated them for a few sessions, and I've kind of started to really think about what makes these trucks special. And it's not what you think it is going to be. I have a little bit of an ankle injury. It's not from skateboarding. I was doing some woodworking projects with some students at the school I teach at, and actually got my ankle caught between two pieces of wood, or kind of hit between two pieces of wood. So it's kind of bruised up. I don't think I'm going to re-injure it by skating. We might do more curb skating today, low impact stuff. Grind King Locker 2s, what makes them special? Let's get to it. Oh, ankle's feeling not too bad. We can at least do some curb stuff. I'm just going to do some nose slides. That's like my go-to warm-up curb trick. Okay. Let me talk about a few disclaimers to this video. How did that happen? I just like dropped the board out of my hand. I did also, another injury while I was doing the woodworking project with students is I smashed my thumb, so maybe that's why I dropped the board. I get so many injuries and they're never from skateboarding. Okay, so some disclaimers. So the first and the biggest disclaimer is Grind King did send me these trucks, these Locker 2s. When they sent me these trucks, they said in the email they want both positive and negative feedback. They are very open to me saying what I want to say about these trucks. In my first video testing Grind Kings, I talked about how I was having a little bit of trouble with how loose they were feeling. If you watch my first video on these Grind King Locker 2s, you will know that I'm not just saying only positive things. I do think these trucks are special. And I do think I'm going to continue skating them for quite a while for a few reasons. This curb height is weird for doing ollieing into 50-50s, but I'm not confident in slappies on this curb, so that's what we're going to do. So last session I had skating these trucks, I was skating at the skate park. I didn't get any footage because it was super busy at the skate park. I mostly skated this ledge at the skate park that's got pretty sharp angle iron. The groove of the truck, when I was landing on the edge, it was keeping me from like 50-50. It was keeping me from falling off, and I was definitely having an easier time staying up on the ledge. That is what people are thinking about when they're buying these trucks. Oh, that pole scares me. I got an ollie before that pole. I mean, the name of the truck is Locker. So that is what they're marketing for sure. Jeez. All right, I'm going to take a break for a minute. What was that I stuck on? Oh. So this ledge has, some spots that are like super waxed, and then some spots that are really exposed brick. I actually brought a can of lacquer, and I've been meaning to, lacquer these spots throughout the ledge, lacquer the whole thing so that it grinds a little smoother. Sometimes it grinds really great if you hit the right spot. Sometimes it sticks, and that's what just happened. Yeah, that didn't feel super great. Honestly, I feel like that fall looked worse than it actually was. So it kind of looked dramatic on film. And I guess I guess I scraped up my elbow as well. But yeah, I was not expecting that fall. That is for sure. So we'll get back to it in a minute, though. I'm just gonna take a moment, catch my breath, make sure, let the adrenaline wear off to make sure I'm good, and then get back to it. And this might be kind of stupid to spray the lacquer over the wax, but I'm actually gonna do that real quick for the future of this ledge. Man, I can't believe that happened. That was so silly. All right, lacquer to the end. We're not gonna do any curb skating for the next 15 minutes or so. All right, let's do just some basic flat grounds. Catch my breath again. Okay. Oh. Oh. Okay. Scares me. Heel flips and kick flips scare me a little bit with how my ankle's feeling. My 180s seem to be getting better. If you've been watching the channel, you know my 180 struggles. See if the ankle feels good enough for a kick flip. Ooh. Let's get back to our talk. What makes these trucks special? So the first time I tested these trucks, I talked about the turn, and I talked about how it's an immediate sharp turn that these Locker 2s have. I don't think the Locker 1s turned like this. I think this is distinctly due to some of the changes they made for the Locker 2s. Yeah, but they turn very sharp and immediate. The Grind King Lockers have 3 adjustable spots on the base plate for how wide or short you can make your wheelbase. So when I was testing, had them on the medium most wheelbase, which brought the wheelbase in just a little bit more than a Thunder truck. Not quite. All right, I'm gonna have to pause on the kickflip with how my ankle is feeling. So a little bit tighter wheelbase than the Thunder truck when they were on their medium setting. Not quite as tight as like an Indy or anything like that. Oh my gosh. The turn was really sharp and also a very deep turn. I cannot even imagine what it would have been like if I had put them on the tightest wheelbase. That would have been kind of wild. I'm sorry for what my flat ground tricks look like today. And there's a Ferrari 296 over there. Yeah, I can't even imagine what the turning radius would have felt like in the innermost setting, because a tighter wheelbase means a tighter curve, a deeper curve, a sharper curve. Like, you can do a smaller turn radius is the words I'm looking for. And I think with a tighter wheelbase, it would have been unskatable for me. The medium bushings also felt pretty loose. Like, I was leaning left and right a little easier than I wanted to in their basic setting. I could have cranked down the medium bushings to get a tighter bushing setting, I guess. But I'm always hesitant to do that in the first few sessions because I don't want to crush the bushings. The setting I'm running now is actually really interesting. I'm running a hard bushing on bottom and a soft middle bushing with no top bushing. I don't know if you can see that there. The gray is the hard, the blue is the soft, and then no top bushing. So I've discovered after a little bit of testing that that's what feels the best to me. The top bushing seems to affect the rebound, how fast the board comes back to center, and the bottom bushing seems to handle the stability of the truck a little bit better. So what I ended up doing is I actually moved it to the widest setting of the truck. That made the wheelbase, my true wheelbase, a little bit wider, and that made the trucks turn ever so slightly less sharp. This is a 14-inch wheelbase board, which is a pretty tight wheelbase. So if I move up to a normal board that has like a 14.25 wheelbase, I will probably put the trucks on the medium setting. The wider setting seems to be the same wheelbase as about a venture truck. All right, I might not land any flip tricks today with how my ankle's feeling. I'm a little nervous getting back on this curb after that fall, but oh, that lacquer smoothed that up for sure. What makes them special is that these trucks can be whatever you need for your board, for your skating situation. They can be that with putting it at a wider wheelbase and putting the harder bottom bushing on. This actually is skating very similar to what my Thunders feel like on this board. If you are a fan of Indies or Aces or those really surfy tourney trucks, put it on the medium or the small wheelbase, put it on the medium or the soft bushings, and you're gonna have that type of turn. Okay, there we go. That got the fear out. Now I can actually go for it a little more. So with these trucks, you in theory can create the truck that you want to create. You have a level of customization that I don't think any other truck on the market offers. When I get close to this thing, I start like leaning back to avoid hitting it. I think the closest thing to this level of customization would be like the Costin V8s, because you have two sets of bolt holes for the trucks. If you move it in or out on the Costin V8s, you're moving it a full half an inch. It's such a large move in or out that it actually is too much in my opinion. This is every time, it might not show on camera, but every time I'm getting here, I'm like, the level of customization, you have 3 different wheelbase settings you can skate, all about a quarter of an inch apart. You also have soft, hard, and medium bushings as options. You also have the option to have the top hat on, which is going to allow for a deeper turn. Take the top hat off like I did, which is going to limit the depth of your turn. You can also mix and match like I did. So I have a hard on bottom, soft on top. You could obviously do the reverse, which I tried. You could also do medium on bottom, hard on top. There's so many things you can do to make the trucks fit your preference. From what I'm hearing from Grind King, instead a lot of people are enjoying the medium bushing on bottom and the hard bushing on top. There's so many options for this truck that you can play around with. What I settled on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the hard on bottom, soft on top, and then I'm going to adjust the wheelbase based on my board. So if I get a 14-inch wheelbase board, I'm going to set these on their widest setting. If I get a 14.25 board, I'm going to set them on a medium setting. Oh, that's sliding so good with the lacquer. Now I'm like, why had I not put lacquer on this curb earlier? Oh man, there's some sick cars today. We had a Ferrari earlier, which like I'm not the biggest Ferrari guy. Like I don't love exotic cars, but this is more my style. Nice little like VW rat rod over there. Let's see if I can get it on camera. Oh yeah, sick. There must be a car show going on because look at this guy. I like cars. I feel like a lot of skateboard people like cars. These trucks, I can get a really deep carve, but with the hard bottom bushing, I'm not getting to that deep carve easily. I have to actually try to make the truck turn deep, if that makes any sense. So I'm loving how these are feeling because I can kind of live in this area of a medium turn. But then if I really want to push it, I'll go the other way and show you. If I really want to push the turn, I can turn really sharp. It's nice with the hard bushing because it keeps me in that kind of not so sharp turn kind of range. And then I only go to the sharp turn when I really, really want to, if that makes sense. When I had it on the medium bushings, when I had it on the really, really loose setting for these Grind Kings, I was having stability issues. Oh, okay, my heel touched. When I was squatting to pop for a trick, the board would wobble. Well, now with the hard bushing on bottom, the board doesn't do that. So, yeah, I'm being so long-winded and so detailed, but I hope that makes sense. Okay. Oh. Oh. By that time, I'm slowing down too much. I kind of feel like I've covered everything. I'm really struggling to land tricks today. I'm sorry. I hope if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know that I'm just an average skater. I am not professional level. I'm trying to make relatable skateboard content. That's why I leave all the missed tricks that I do in my videos. Okay, yeah, we got that. We got that. Oh, first flip trick of the day. Okay. Ah! Oh my gosh, I keep dragging my heel. Oh my gosh, okay. Nope. Oh gosh. I 100% felt my ankle there when I stepped off the board. I'm going to call it there. So I think I covered everything I wanted to cover in the video. What everybody thinks makes this truck special is the lock-in feature there. What actually makes these trucks special is that they are so adjustable. The fact that you can widen the wheelbase in 3 different increments, 3 different settings for bushings, hard, medium, soft, a top bushing and a bottom bushing that can be adjusted separate. So really, really cool stuff. Grind King Locker 2s. Okay, I'm done skating. I gotta take care of this ankle. You didn't come to see cool tricks for this video anyways. You came for information about the Grind King Locker 2s, didn't you? Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.